I mean, this is a cash flow business, right? What does that do to our industry, right? Like, is that going to negatively impact our industry? Does it positively impact our industry with all of this buying and merging and everything of that nature? Because I'm torn, to be honest, on my side of, I think it's pro for some types, and it's also a con for the industry because we're just basically building to sell as opposed to building to
Right.
serve as we had in the past. I mean, what do you see it as on the pro con side of it?
On the pro side, I'm hopeful that it continues. Again, I'm a broken record. The practices to businesses. It's I think if advise again, you start come out of a wirehouse, start a firm, 3 advisors, whatever. If you start thinking long term of, hey, we may sell this someday, it's going to have to be a real business. And so I'm hoping that just all the opportunity to sell and that dream of selling will professionalize a lot of businesses faster than they probably would have if they were just kind of chugging along. And hey, we left wherever we left because we want to serve clients the way we want to. We want to market the way we want to, all the right reasons, but they potentially could never become a business, right? And think about the professionalization. So I'm hoping that with all the M&A activity, it will drive that a little bit more. Plus, if you professionalize the business with your original thought is, hey, we need the highest cash flow possible, right? To be attractive. You've professionalized the business. Now the cash flow is so great that you can just, live off of. You don't need to sell, but maybe it drives you in the beginning to, hey, let's think about selling. Let's have an opportunity to sell. So let's make this a real business as opposed to a practice. So that's the big pro. And then the con is just, there's so many articles about it, and I don't disagree with them, that the buyers of these businesses, these PE firms, just completely turning over every 3 years, right? Is it long-term capital that advisors are selling to?
I mean, you see in the weeds, right? You were at Focus for a little bit, and now you're helping firms go through that. I mean, the impact to the client, right? Let's talk about that for a second. Not a lot of people talk about the impact to the client. There's one side of the angle that says, well, the client, they now have more offerings and more services, and I've mentioned that multiple times. But the transition period, I mean, what are some stories that you've seen? I mean, what's the visual that clients that are going through this can kind of put in their mind if their advisor is going through an M&A transaction? And I think it's something good for advisors to think about, right? Because
Yeah.
they need to think about the clients. I know that they're also thinking about sustainability for them to have a going concern. But what's the experience for clients that you've seen as you've worked with these businesses doing M&A?
If it's done right, the client shouldn't even know much, right? It's even if you're a Merrill Lynch team and you start your own RIA, there's a lot of additional things that an RIA can provide that the Merrills can. And we've all talked about the fiduciary standard and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, the client has that relationship with the advisor, and it really shouldn't change much. What they feel. They're better. There hopefully is some added, hey, we've got a better reporting capabilities, whatever, but that's all around the margin. That relationship should still be the same. So that's whether you're going from like the wirehouse model to the RIA. But then if your RIA is acquired by a larger firm, whether you're, then everybody's got different models, whether your logo goes away and it becomes the parent or not, or whatever it is, it should just come down to that relationship with the advisor. The client really shouldn't. And then again, if there is a PE firm leaves and another firm comes in, and it is a bit distracting for the advisors, but if they're doing it right, the client shouldn't be a big day-to-day something in the client's face.